Hey, Matt and Janelle here with Noel Jurado, our buddy from Old Republic Title. How you doing today, bud?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Real good.
Doing good.
Busy.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for fitting me in. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I mean, that's awesome. So we'll just get right into it, man. How long have you done this business?
So August just celebrated 21 years in the title industry.
Really?
So, yeah, yep. All for the same company too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. 21 long years, but I've been good years too.
How do you get started in this business?
It's actually a funny story. It was by accident. I was before I started here 21 years ago. I used to work in retail, and I used to work selling shoes and wore the referee uniform. I let the millions of viewers put that one together, put two and two together.
Were you here at the local mall?
Yep, right here at the local mall. Yeah, and
awesome. I probably worked security there at the time.
All right, I thought you looked familiar. Yeah. And at the time, my wife actually was working for a title company, and gives me she's my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, so she calls me because it was a temporary gig for her. She's getting ready to finish school. She's getting ready to go on to do bigger and better things, and she says, "Hey, Noel, what do you think? You want?" She says, "They're hiring. They're looking for a courier." At the time, I didn't know what a courier was. I had no clue. The most I could tell you is if we had a size 8 or 8.5 in stock. And so she says, I said, "Well, what does a courier do?" And she says, they basically just deliver papers, because this is before email. This is before, Barrett fax was big back then. Right. And I said, "Yeah, you know what? I'll apply." So I call them up. They say, "Come pick up an application." I fill out the application. On the application, this is before online, so you fill it out. And I said, I'm applying for the CARRIER position, the carrier position. I had no idea. I didn't know what a courier was.
Right.
I lucky enough, I got the job, and that's all she wrote. From there, it was just courier, and then
let's go.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
Here we are.
Nice. So, I mean, obviously, escrow is different than title. Not a lot of people know the difference. I don't know that a lot of people care unless they're purchasing a property, right? Yeah. But once they get into that situation where they're buying a property and they're in escrow and they've got to have title insurance and all these different terms start coming up, they get confused, right? Yeah. So, nutshell it for them, buddy. What's the difference between escrow and title insurance?
Yeah, that's a good question, because you're right. I think most people, they really don't know what it is, and to be honest with you, it was a while before I even figured out what I did at the title company. In a nutshell, basically, the main purpose of a title company is to issue title insurance. Now, the main experience that most customers have when they're buying a house, or maybe they're refinancing their property, is they tend to deal with their escrow departments. And they're two here in Northern California. They're two totally different departments. And the way I like to put it is, title insurance is the product that we provide. Escrow is the service that we provide. And so, what's that look like? When you're going to buy a house, we're the company that we're the middleman in every transaction. And when you open up an order with us, hey, this house on 123 Main Street is going up for sale. We've got it in escrow. Our job in title is to research the history, ownership of that property. So we're going to go all the way back, in some cases as far back as the records will take us, 1850, back to when California was annexed into the Union. And and it's basically just a history lesson on this property. And so what we're looking at is the chain of all the owners. When Uncle Tim transferred to Billy, and when Billy transferred, and what we want to make sure is that there are no gaps, because the last thing you want is a gap, and you don't want anybody to jump in that gap and say, hey, hold on a second, I have claim to this property.
Right.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to issue a policy that says you have clear title. And so that's one of the things we're looking at. We're looking for any kind of liens on the property. Together we're working with the escrow department once we put together our report that says, hey, here are the liens, here's the owner, here's who's legally, here's the legal person or entity that can transfer this property to the new owner, because you want to know that. You want to know that the person you're buying from is in fact the legal owner.
Right.
Or else you're going to have a whole lot of problem when the real owner shows up to your house after you've gotten the keys. So that's what title insurance is. Escrow, on the other hand, is going to facilitate the transfer of that. They're going to take my report. They're going to say, okay, here are all the loans that need to be paid off. Here are all the liens, and this is all the documentation that needs to be signed. And so that tends to be the people that you're dealing with the most on the front lines is the escrow department. So you've got your title issuing the insurance, and you've got your escrow department facilitating all that, handling the paperwork, moving the money where it needs to go, paying off what needs to be paid off, so that at the end, your new homeowner has this property free and clear. So in a nutshell, and I'm sure there's underwriters out there cringing at my nutshell, but that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Well, I mean, I have to say it really helps. Like, I don't know if you remember that 10-acre land deal that I was involved with in Robbins, where the Congressional Railroad Act of like 1860 or something came up, and you're like, we can't, do a policy on that. And I was like, why, Yeah. And then once you explained to me, these people can just come, like their descendants could come back and claim the property.
Yeah.
It was like, oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, railroad property is fine.
And it was when I had first started, in real estate, and it was like my first deal,
Sure.
And I was like, what? Where did this come from?
Yes.
Since then, man, you've been such a valuable resource to me and to Janelle, and I really appreciate everything you do for us. So thank you again for coming on.
Yes. And any realtors out there, reach out to Noel if you have a question. He's absolutely amazing. Noel, if you could, once we end this, like put your phone number or email or however you want people to get a hold of you. I don't know, your TikTok, whatever you got, put it in the comments. That way people know how to get a hold of you, because you are an absolute wealth of information.
Right on. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right.